Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We're your hosts. I'm Randy.
And I'm Joe.
This is episode 83 of our show, and the day is April 12th, 2022.
Yes, it is.
How is the Joseph?
Doing fine, even though my dog came and opened my door. I can't really close it all the way. And he'll come in here and peek his head in and then go away. But hello to our viewers. Two viewers.
Hey, 2 is better than 0.
Shadow and Larry. Oh, here we go. We got more now.
Darth Martinson, Jesse. Oh, might be a new fella. Lady, I'm not sure. Dude.
Personage.
Yes. So, hello, everybody. So, anything exciting for you this week, Rob?
Well, we didn't play this week. Right? Or did we?
No, we did not. We're supposed to this weekend, though. At least that's the rumor.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Or if you guys can make Saturday.
I'm not sure because I don't know. No. Okay. This is probably a bad weekend because this is Holy Weekend, right?
Yes, it is.
And me and the wife are at church starting Friday pretty much every day. So this will probably not be great for gaming.
Say that again. What are you and your wife doing?
Well, Good Friday. So we're going to Good Friday, and then there's a Saturday service.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a late service.
Oh, okay.
And then Sunday. So we'll be there every day.
Good deal. Yeah. So Jesse, the dude, he says I on his name was my parents too.
Well, you should do something about that, Jesse. Like go up to them and give them what fur.
What fur? How dare you? But that's cool. So I'm trying to think. I know I'm going to. That's not a new church, but another church. I've kind of begin to be a fan of how these people approach the Lord and stuff, and I'm intrigued to see how their Easter service is going to be. I'm going to keep a tab, see if there's something else they're going to do. But they're not real formal. They're not a real formal church at all. And I do like about them. And so I don't know if they'll do a Friday, Saturday. I mean, when I was young, we used to get up early on Easter. We'd have like service at like sunrise.
Yeah.
Like 5:30. So yeah. So I'm excited to go to that. That'll be good.
Yeah. I got my days mixed up. So a little bit of excitement. I got my days mixed up. I thought this Sunday was Easter and not this past Sunday instead of this coming Sunday.
Yeah, this coming Sunday. Happy Easter, everyone that's out there.
So I woke my wife up and said, "Happy Easter," and because she loves candy, I'm not big on candy, and had her a basket because that's what she likes.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, thank you, I love you," and today's not Easter. It was hilarious.
That's all right, dude. You had one. So, did you do any gaming stuff at all yourself this weekend? Did you and the wife do any fun gaming cool crap?
No, but what I did do was I investigated whether or not I could live stream Baldur's Gate, the enhanced edition.
Oh, yeah, you got that, huh?
And while you can, I'm not too sure how fun it will be for everybody else unless I have lots of commentary, because the movement in the game is kind of lame, I think.
What are you playing it on?
PC.
Okay.
So the movement, you have to click and click. I'm sure that there's a keyboard way to do it, but I haven't figured that out. Yeah. If I can figure out the way to do it on the keyboard, then the click, wait for the fog of war thing to clear, and then click some more. I
have the PS4 version. I bought the Super Deluxe set, and I have Planescape Torment and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Neverwinter Nights, all for the PS4.
No, nothing like that. This is
I got this several years back. It's pretty cool. Got a sweet beholder dice. What's it called? You roll dice in.
Oh, dice tray.
Dice tray. You know that thing. Oh, hey, good news on the fat boy front. Randy lost 8 pounds this week.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah, I'm
Good
weighing in
deal.
every Friday, so I'm feeling pretty good. Got up at 4:45 this morning. I was at the gym by 5:30. Oh no, 5:45.
Did that take you under 300?
No, but I'm close.
Very close.
I'm so close, and you can taste it, Clarice. Anyway, I'm hoping it'll push me. That's all right. My goal is 220. That's where I want to be.
All righty.
Forever. So
You'll just have to sweat off a whole person just about.
The key for me is eating, dude. You know,
Yeah.
I don't mind working out and biking. You know, I do. It's
Right.
cool, but
Right.
it's that damn eating stuff. You know, I like food too much, but I'm doing better. I even feel better. Yeah. So
I love food. Food is good.
yeah. So, but anyway, so we got any call-ins or emails this week?
Absolutely none.
Been talking to our buddy at Clearswell Ring Mill, Taylor, a little bit on Facebook. I'm glad he's joined that so he can chat with us old folks. I got intrigued last week. I believe it was Cal. Was Cal the one that mentioned near the end of our podcast? He said Aaron the Pedantic was doing a video commentary on Professor DM's video on Critical Role.
He might have. That sounds familiar, but I never got back to that. So
I listened to Aaron for a little while, then I listened to Professor Dungeon Master. I talked with you and Patrick a little bit. We kind of texted back and forth, and I decided to sit and watch the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Were you able to force yourself to sit through it?
No.
Okay. So I did, and he tries to walk back some of his statements at the very end.
How so? I mean, is it
he
real
says,
walking back?
You like playing this way. It's okay. Do whatever you want. I agree, Shadow. Cal is very cool.
Cool Cal.
But anyway, Professor DM basically said this. He said, you and your group will never be as good as Critical Role. And he made the comment that it was, and of course, he talks a lot about story. Professor DM's more of a story guy. And I'll be honest with you, dude. I like story. I understand the OSR mentality and the mentality of a lot of people. The story happens at the table. And I pretty much agree. But I'm also perfectly happy riding a very fun railroad. And I'll be honest with you, this dude right here is not complaining much.
Me?
Yeah, you haven't.
No, I don't.
And I've done it. And by railroad, I mean what most people would call, a lot of the purists, not the bro SR people, but which that'd be a fun discussion. I'm not sure who they are, but I've heard some weird things about them.
You're not missing anything.
Okay. But anyway, I like the idea of a story and building it around the characters, but I think it's a completely different style of play. But Professor Dunn, back to him, he's kind of on that side. But he made the comment, I thought he was a little arrogant when he said on the scale of just of a gamer and more of a, what did he call it? Oh, I'm blanking now.
Thespian?
Maybe, but not
something around there.
Gamer versus storyteller type person. He's more over there with Critical Role, he said. And he would make the comment, oh, they're such good actors and they can really get into character. Your group will never be this good. And I'm like,
and
I think he's right. I think it's easier dramatics. There you go. Martinson said it.
Yeah, no, drama. Who cares?
He didn't for it. But
you did.
No,
you did.
I don't believe that I could do that.
It was weird too. You froze, and then you went really fast for a second. So you were skipping time there.
Really with great relish. But my point was, he said that, and sometimes with him, I can't tell if he's fully kidding or talking stuff like tongue firmly implanted in cheek, but he comes off as a little hoity-toity.
Yep. Yeah. So I posted somewhere, and it's maybe not a good comparison, but when I think about him, I think about Caddyshack. As I posted this up on our chat, the Judge Smales, Mr. Snooty.
Right.
And so he kind of reminds me of him in a way. But the thing is, he's right in a way. If drama is your thing, then if you're not presenting in a dramatic way, then it's not his bag of tea. But he's also saying you're better.
Correct.
So, but from his point of view, you're
Right.
better.
Right.
So when people make these kinds of statements, and we were talking about something similar earlier before we started,
Mm-hmm.
we should mentally preface this kind of statement, even with us here,
Sure.
because I'll say things with
Right.
full confidence and I won't preface it
Right.
because it's tiresome doing so.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at my table, that
Right.
kind of thing, because that's what really he means, or he should.
And that's what we're all doing anyway. Everybody
Yeah.
gets in here and makes these podcasts or video, YouTube. You're giving your opinion. Shadow and Sun, they have their opinion on things. I mean, it's just a thing, you know. But yeah, his statement better, I think, got under Aaron the pedantic skin a little bit. I didn't watch his complete reply, and I don't want to make it bigger than what it is, because in the end, he goes, "If you like playing, do this." But I mean, I think there'd be people that would say, I mean, it kind of made me kind of bristle a little bit, and I was kind of like, Critical Role is not really D&D, if you ask me.
Not really.
They're kind of, and they can say they're completely playing the game by rolling the dice, and they might be, because I mean, I know there are very good improv actors that can do all that, and that's completely fine.
But here's the thing. Another thing I was thinking about with this whole thing with Professor DM, how do we know how good they are? Because they do lots of editing.
Yep.
How many times do they go through and say their lines, or maybe they don't say lines over and over again, but maybe they pick out the best parts to show us, and then it looks like they are.
And
how do we know they are?
Right. And he looked like, he claimed they're better because they get into their character better, they have better interactions. But the truth is, what if you don't enjoy that? I mean, at a table like mine, they might suck. And you might have a person there who's a super good actor, but if he can't keep up with the power gamers and Pathfinder, dude, that's good for you, but you're going to look like a punk at our table.
I mean, there are two sides to this game. One of them is the talking part, and one of them is the rolling part. Right? Mm-hmm. They are both part of the game.
Right.
How you do that improv part is totally up to you. There's no menu, there's no specific instructions and all that. Mm-hmm. It's just there's some references to stuff that Critical Role does, and what we all do to one degree or another, getting into character. And getting into character for some people means from a theater type point of view. And for me, getting into character means I think about what my character would do and acting kind. Sometimes I will talk in character, sometimes I will not. I don't get uptight about that one way or another.
Oh, Legion's bringing up okay, yeah. So yeah, basically, long story short, let's wrap the Professor DM up. Look, he's welcome to his opinion, but he's not correct.
He doesn't lay the law for anybody.
No, and neither does Watsy or anybody else plays D&D, except Max. Max lays the law.
Yes.
But Max has a comment. Check it out.
Yes. In fact, if you can tell by my okay, let me see what it says. Legion of Myth says, and this is Max.
Yeah.
I was told to ask Biggest Geekus about a dust up with Shadzar and how I'm a liar again or something. Yes. So there was a bit of a dust up on Discord involving name calling. Wow. And I said, you need to cool your jets. And it ended with him calling me Cliff Clavin, which is why I have that on my name plate here on the live stream.
Why was Shadzar yelling names at people? What was he pissed off about?
Because if you don't measure up for him, he starts calling names and calling you a liar, you've lied, instead of just maybe being incorrect, or right. Maybe you've misinterpreted what was said. Who knows?
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So essentially I said, well, you're the one with your panties up in a bunch. I just asked you to stop. And that ended it pretty much.
Right. Oh, well.
Pretty much.
Right.
So yes. Business as usual. Nothing new.
Poor Shadzar.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? We're all, we're all two different people in this on the interwebs, and I mean, everybody's a little different, so we're bound to rub each other wrong a little bit. So,
Yeah, but we got to give each other a little bit or shut up about
yeah,
it.
and you need something when you cross a line, someone should tell you. And other than that, unless it's just really egregious, I say give them a little grace.
Hmm.
You know, so.
So,
Yeah,
on that note,
I think we're ready to jump into the main topic.
yes. So, yes, because we don't have any call-ins or emails. We don't have a lot of
No,
what?
I'm just sad that we don't.
Yeah, no one. Well, what we do have on the internet is people just sharing us, which is great.
Oh,
People
that's awesome.
retweet, they share, they do that kind of thing.
Oh, hit that thing! Hit that thing, dude!
Hit the thing. Hit the thing.
The
Oh
thing,
yeah.
and the other thing. Move the thing and
The
the other thing.
thing. Oh, hold on. Okay.
I'm waiting. I want to see it now.
Yeah, I froze this time.
Mm,
My screen locked.
sweet. Yes.
That thing? You
What I'm
want
talking
the
about.
subscribe?
That's
The
the thing.
subscribe thing.
Yeah, baby. That's cool. Did Max let you use that one? That looks familiar.
Yes. Well, I yoinked it. I said
Oh.
I yoinked it, and he said it was fine. So it's kind of after the fact.
You yoinked it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Randy's didn't turn his phone off. Hold on.
You know that is a sin. You shouldn't do that. That's bad programming. Nobody likes hearing anybody's phone going off. So yeah, not a lot of specifics. No suggestions or questions or anything like that. And I didn't put up a poll yet as far as monsters go. But what we might do, one last thing before we get into the main topic.
Yeah.
If you guys have some suggestions or some suggestions about what monsters you want us to talk about, we might change it up a little bit the next time around as far as how we talk about the monsters. Less emphasis on what we all know because we play the game, and more emphasis perhaps on new ways or different ways. They might not be new because there might be some parallel development out there. Stuff we do, you might do as well, but it will be different from canon.
And if it bores people, I'll back off on the history part too. I've enjoyed myself tremendously digging into OD&D, BECME, and all the other stuff. I like seeing how the monsters have changed. And so when we have our next one, it'll probably be the incorporeal undead, just to put a cap on it, the incorporeal. And so I've already been doing some work on that, and I do enjoy that. But if it's boring people, I'll quit. It's kind of neat to see which monsters appeared when and how they changed. So, but
right.
Anyway.
I like using the monsters' essential abilities, and then skinning them some in a different way, so that folks who memorize them dang books, don't have one up on you. Yeah, look at Ravenloft ghosts. I'm sure those are interesting.
I bet they are. Yep.
And I think monsters are one of the big things that you can change, and you can just ditch the monster manual and roll your own.
No, you could.
It's a little work, but it's one of the things about D&D. You don't have to go with the book stuff because the rules are. The basic rules are in the DMG and the player's handbook. The monsters don't really, especially in first edition, they don't offer new rules specifically. So there's nothing that you're really ditching. There's maybe a spell resistance or something like that.
The monsters do. The monsters do especially in first and second edition, they do what they need to do. It's not like in third where they tried to make everything follow the same rules. And I would advise that even in third edition, we played Pathfinder, Joe knows, I would just build monsters the way I wanted to.
Right.
You couldn't count on, anything being exactly the same unless it was the same creature. So, yeah.
Because you're not just challenging the characters, you're challenging the players too. And there's no way to tease those two apart.
There's no way. It's part of it. So,
and this is part of it. Darthiek says, sorry, I DM too much not to memorize some creatures. So if you already know all the creatures, how exciting is it for you? I'm sure Randy likes it when he gets surprised at the table.
I do. And, the truth is, I think when I'm a player, I'm such a crappy player. being Mr. I mean, Joe knows I try to be more narrative. I try to be a little silly. I don't usually even think when the monsters come up, I do it. My DM mind kicks in and I'll go, what is this? But I try my best not to just react because I know something, but that's hard to do sometimes.
It's hard because you can't not know it.
Right. But it doesn't mean you have to, in some situations, if I'm playing a character and I've never, ever seen a ghost before, I don't have to go, oh yeah, you might magic jar me.
Right. But what you could also do is step back and let others take the lead. And that's a good way to keep yourself
from. A way to do it. Yeah. Rather than, Darth is playing at my table and I bring in a Get Yank and he goes, oh yeah, they have SR 12 plus their level. So depending on this guy's level, he's got high SR and do this and do that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Monsters need to retain this is from Legion of Myth. Monsters need to retain the theme of the actual monster, but tweaking them makes them interesting. Maybe your cockatrice, tomato, gaze causes slow instead of paralysis. Right.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. All right.
So moving on to high level, main topic.
Yeah. So
what's up with high level?
Yeah.
Does anybody even like it?
Right. That is a question. Most games seem to end before quote unquote high level, focusing kind of on D&D. I think this idea was, is it a real thing? Do people actually play it? And, some people's definition of high level, I'll probably hear some people on here will say 9th or 10th level is high level because that's when most campaigns petered out in 1st and 2nd edition.
Right.
And actually,
but
3rd, 4th, and 5th too.
They're wrong. They're all wrong.
Well, just in general, do you think it's because the PCs just get too ridiculous of power that people bail?
There's some people that are like that. They don't like the high power. At 9th level, you do get spellcasters in particular. Your fighter classes not nearly as much, I don't think. But casters in D&D they ramp up at 9th level. You get 5th level spells. 9th level is a game changer in the game because you then teleportations on the table as well as many other abilities that circumvent many obstacles.
Yeah. And so then that brings in the whole GM managing that, right? Shadows.
See? Yep. This is correct. No such thing as too powerful.
If a wizard has a magic staff in my campaign, it's too powerful.
Yes.
Has to go.
Even if the magic staff, it just, creates light.
But to be clear, Joe can confirm, I am definitely a high-level GM.
Yes.
We played campaigns well into past 20th level and 3rd edition and other games too. Granted, I drained tons of levels to make a nod back to last week and brought them back down to 1st, but it was fun while they were there.
There can be in the old game, there can be a kind of a roller coaster where you can go up and down that level thing, right? Up and down because of level draining creatures. So you get a few levels, maybe you get all the way up to a name level, and then a vampire rolls up to you and says, "Ha ha ha, not today." Your 5th level, you still kill them eventually, but everybody's 2, 3, 4 levels lower than they were, and you got to go through the grind again, or find some restoration magic, depending on which version of the game you're in.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I can't. I don't remember all the different version level of restoration. Right. I think there was only one restoration spell apart from heal, because that restored some things.
I believe Iron Man told us last week it was 7th level.
Yeah.
So Darth has a good comment. You want to put that up on the screen? High level play does change how things work, and the DM does have to work harder to challenge the players. Yeah. This also opens up for a different type of play. I think that's the key.
And here's another thing. You don't have, once you hit high level, you might want to not necessarily play every week, because it can be the difficulty on the DM, the intensity of the campaign can make it a little taxing. So
Or if you play, it may not be an adventure every week.
Right. You might not hit the ground and start, slinging your spells. You might do some other stuff, town stuff, or domain stuff, or
Yes.
intrigue. You
I,
just mix it in.
I think I'd like to kind of qualify here a little bit. When you think about, let's focus on D&D mainly, because Max made a comment about other games he really digs high level play. I want
Right.
to get them soon. But with D&D, I think there's transition. Here's what I've noticed for the most part. Players transition once they get to 5th level.
Yeah. They're
What's that sound?
Oh, sorry. The weather has changed in Michigan. It's finally not winter anymore.
Yes.
And so we have the windows open. And, motorcycle. Got a motorcycle. So that's what that was. Sorry. I can't edit that out. So
What does Legion say?
Legion says, in my experience, high-level play turns into PC cakewalking everything, the DM TPKing the PCs, or a lot of work for the DM to know or understand exactly what the PCs can do, vice the monsters.
And
it can be that way.
I think he's actually 100% right. I think there's no arguing that. Even Darth was implying that. I think when I ran high-level campaigns, I played most successful ones, they started at low levels, probably first, and worked their way up to high level. Now, I don't define 10th level as high level. Back to my point, there's a transition, I believe, in all levels of D&D. So when characters get to 5th level, the game changes. They have access to Fireball. That makes a difference. And it's usually connected to the spell levels. With fighters, it could be a specialization at 4th level, whatever it might be. Then when you get to 9th or 10th level, you get 5th level spells. They're a big jump up. Teleport's a big change. Wall of Force is a big change. And then when you get to where you access it's about every odd level, you get access to Disintegrate. Things change a little bit. So Mark Getzinger, welcome. And I like
welcome. Yes. Mark says, I'm DMing a 5e game where players are around 8th level and all the feats, extra actions, etc. is getting exhausting when trying to challenge them. Ooh, what's the one class in 5th edition? Or maybe there's a couple of them that have all the interrupts. I remember you talking about that. Isn't that?
That was my 13th age game where I had a lot.
I thought it happened in 5th edition. Oh, it wasn't interrupt actions exactly. It was the spell. Huh?
No, go ahead.
The spell where you cause a spell being cast to fail. Counterspelling back and forth. Yeah, that was a pain in the butt.
Crazy, but yeah, I think Mark makes a good point. There, and I think I don't know what it is. Maybe I was so comfortable in 1st and 2nd that I never worried about it. And at one point in 3rd edition, I was comfortable too. But I think I've DM'd 5e from 1 to 10, and it got a little boring at 10th level because they were pretty much, like Max said, unbeatable. But it's also because I didn't put the time in to really think about how to challenge the players other than the next adventure. And I think at high level play, 9th, 10th, 15th, 20th, every session, you can play every session, but I think you have to be willing to actually, like Max said, know the player characters, know what motivates them, what makes them think. If Joe's wizard is all about building this awesome staff of power, keep putting challenges in front of him, not just maybe I need this component, which is one good one, but maybe, it's got to be this time of year when you get one shot every decade and you need to prepare yourself and you got to have 9 acolytes around you, but that requires the DM to think about it. Which, begs another question we'll get to in a minute, but it kind of begs the question, does high level play even work? I mean,
well,
here's what I mean. If you as a DM the group has to work that hard to make it happen, you can't play weekly more, because you can't really play more and more dungeon crawls. You can, but it gets silly.
Well, some people would say that the dungeon crawl is D&D. That's Bro SR. That's one of the Bro SR things. Canned adventures, not canned. Off the cuff adventures where it's all, the dice determine everything, including what you're getting ready to fight, or if you're fighting. So that goes all the way up to high level for these guys. But I think the problem with D&D, especially, I think all editions that I've played,
yeah,
high level play was not ever really play tested and not really considered in design. And I think that there's some evidence, especially for Gygaxian era D&D, that many of those folks never, they were like, why are you playing over 9th level? That doesn't make any sense. Even though they built character abilities to go past 9th level. So it's kind of weird. It's weird. I remember hearing that and thinking that's weird because you have, especially in the early game, there wasn't a cap. There wasn't a 20th level where you stop. It was just however far. Most of the character abilities stopped by then or well before, but you still got hit points and all that. So I don't think it was well designed, and for mid to high level play, it's really better designed at the lower end of the character level spectrum. Because you do have to do a lot to challenge. The monsters. I mean, ancient huge red dragon in first or second edition. How many hit points they had? 80?
88 in first edition.
88, first edition.
Ancient red dragon. That's weak sauce.
Yeah, mid level, you're going to trash that dragon.
Yeah,
mid to high.
7th level party is going to kick its teeth in.
Right.
A couple of comments. Shadow and Sun made a couple of good ones. If you look at 757, he said just add a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand hit points. I mean, you can do that. Does that increase the fun? Maybe.
Okay, a couple hundred maybe. I think adding hit points, I understand adding hit points because that gets you more mileage out of the monster. They can actually maybe bring some of their abilities to bear, because if you walk in as a high-level party and you just one-shot everything, they never really get to use any of their abilities unless you ambush the party, which is hard to do sometimes at mid to high level because of character abilities and magic and whatnot.
I think all this stuff that you're trying to talk about, I think that's the main reason that that people don't play high level, because it takes serious work. I mean, let me share something here.
Yeah,
I got a screen here.
Screen share.
Yes.
Modules are a cure, potentially. But most modules, especially now in fifth edition, from what I understand, most of them are. Can you need me to add that?
Yes. Should I make that bigger? Probably. Did that help at all?
I would move it over a little bit. You can't see the. You can't see the tier 1 thing very well. It's kind of off to the side. There we go.
Okay. And by the way, I'll come back to this. Tier 3 is 11 to 16. Tier 4 is 17 to 20. And I believe this is a 5th edition tier of play. But for just right now, let's agree that's high level. And almost 63% are at tier 1, levels 1 to 5. You don't even get to 11th level. 11th level and higher is barely over 10%.
Right.
So my thought is, I think probably you may see what was his name? Mark Getzinger and some of the others have said, and Max, it just becomes more of a chore. I did experience burnout with 3.x, but I also fixed that in Pathfinder because I tried to just write what was important. I didn't keep all the stats, and I just made the monster, like I said before, do what I wanted to do. But again, that's reinventing the wheel. It would be nice if there would be a D&D edition where high level, mid level, levels 1 to 10 was fun, levels 10 to 15 was fun, and 15 or higher was fun. It'd be nice if they could do that. Right,
without it just being the bigger orc, because that's one of our friends was like, it's just a bigger orc. Is that really exciting? Well, I don't know.
Well, maybe I was an experienced player at Gen Con one year and played a second level game, second edition AD&D game. This one group, they had done several really cool events, and this one was a wilderness encounter. They had a massive table layout, and we fought these orcs. They called them black orcs, and there was a bunch of them. We were 8th level characters. We thought, it's going to be easy. They had 60 to 80 hit points apiece. So to give a nod to Shadow, that seemed to make them interesting. And at the moment, we thought, pretty cool. And we played for years and years.
Right. And I have to agree somewhat with Bruce here.
Yeah.
High level Pathfinder works. You have to have things on speed dial, but you can have a game from 12 to 20 and have fun. And we played high level Pathfinder and we had fun.
Yes.
However,
Yep.
you did things different from the book.
For sure.
And I think the what a lot of people don't like about Pathfinder is gigantic stat blocks, especially at high level. But it works as long as everybody at the table is pretty conversant with the rules and their characters. But that's what he means. I believe that's what he means by speed dial.
Yeah, you can't be looking up stuff all the time. You got to know what you want to do. I mean, if you have a group of 5 18th level characters in Pathfinder, and you got 2 or 3 that are flipping through the book, or I don't know what I did last week, it's not going to work.
That's not going to work.
And I'll be honest with you, I got several players in our extended group I would not invite to a high level game. I would not want to be part of the game. It just takes too long. It'd be ridiculous. I would handpick people if I was going to run a high level campaign.
Bruce just called you a hero.
So heroes do, Joe. I think so. But
they fit the game for their table.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think Pathfinder is the best for high level play. I think honestly, a game with less rules is better for high level play. I like a game like maybe Beckme or original D&D, followed by first or second edition. And again, having said less rules, I know there's 1.5 million rules in the 2E Player's Handbook and DM's Guide that we just ignored. That's harder to do in a Pathfinder game because the rules are so tightly connected. When I say Pathfinder, I include your favorite version of 3rd edition. So let's call it all 3.x. And I think it's really hard. So what you have to do, or at least what we did, and what I would do if I was running high-level Pathfinder is say, players, you follow the rules. Okay?
Yeah.
You make your characters follow the rules, and I will follow your rules. But I'm going to create monsters the way I want to create monsters. And they're going to have bonuses to things because I want them to have bonuses to things. And you're going to have to deal with it some way and find a way to overcome it. I'm not going to say, well, I have this particular feat. Okay, but this monster can block this because that's how he's built. He cannot be tripped. Sorry about your luck. Yes, his spell resistance is 46. Deal with it.
Exactly. And in high level games, you got to do that.
Yep.
Sometimes the spellcaster's got to take a back seat or buff the player, the other characters, not try to do direct damage. That's in 3X and Pathfinder. That's the best way to go anyway.
Oh, man. Dude, our peeps out here, they are commenting awesome. Bruce at 807. Dig what he says. I got to get to Mark.
807.
Limit. The F out of PF. So just play P, not PF.
That is the problem with 3X and Pathfinder is the gigantic amount of it's not core. There's a phrase I always use, but I can't remember it right now. A lot of material out there that is official that everybody wants to play and mush it all into one world. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, really.
Yeah. And Shadow, and if you could show the next 2 right in a row, they're good. Shadow says, yeah, know the adventure or details for the night until you know you're ready. But at the same time, know your players and be ready for them to go in opposite direction, the drop of a hat. By the time my players got to 10th level, I knew what they were going to bite on and what they weren't.
It's not hard, especially with our crew, with me there. All you have to do is have somebody to save, or some town to save, or whatever. Do something. Here's some heroism for you to do. I'm in.
Yep. Mark, get Mark Getzinger here. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead. Read it.
Even when you try to run appropriate, this is Mark Getzinger. Getzinger. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right.
It looks German.
Even when trying to run appropriate level modules, PCs still are steamrolling through some parts. Good job in pronouncing my last name correctly. Very few do that. Yeah. We don't like appropriate level encounters here.
Right, but I feel, Mark.
But I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Even in Pathfinder, if you grab a level 7 and 9 adventure, which usually means you're starting at 7, ending at 9, or 5th edition the same way, I think fifth edition, fifth edition in general, Mark, my opinion is it is easy mode. Pathfinder, because if players are min-maxing, and I'm not against it, but if you get very proficient players, they will build characters that will smoke the official modules into the ground because they are not built for proficient players. They're built for basically, they're assuming everybody's kind of a noob.
Average.
And they try to build characters based on a theme or a narrative or some sort of like cool story element.
And you don't necessarily have to be min-maxed out to the nines. As long as you have good strategy and you can think on your feet, that makes a difference too. And I don't know how you can calculate that into appropriate level encounters.
Yeah.
If you just use numbers, that doesn't work because sometimes those numbers are out of whack, and sometimes you have really a well-oiled machine party who knows what they're doing, and you can't account for that. And
to be fair, in midstream 3.5, I did sort of randomly pick a monster that was CR appropriate, and my party was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah,
I was doing nothing special.
Yeah,
so CR,
sometimes.
And most of the designers admit CR is more of an art than a science. Even though Joe and I aren't fans of it, I don't think you can rely on that. You have to know your characters, especially your players, and your characters.
Yeah,
high level, and you have to you can take a module, but be prepared. You're like, they're going to fight this ogre. He's got 80 hit points. Nah, he's got 260 hit points. Is what he's got. AC 18. Nah, 24.
But you make him an ogre magi too.
Yeah, an ogre magi. Yeah, he's a special ogre. He learned some magic. I mean, you have to do that to challenge them. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, if you want it to be an easy encounter, then run it as is. Because I can tell you, my players, if I ran a module straight up as it is, they're pretty much going to roll it.
And that's not really for min-maxing, because we have a varying degree of that within our group of people who play. It's less that and more, we know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't even really use proper squad level tactics, really. We use it. I think we're probably 50-50.
Yeah.
And so if you have people that are in there that have even better tactics than we do, and ours aren't great, they're good enough. And we've been playing for how long?
Yeah.
So
now I wonder, you guys that are here, I've seen several that mentioned they like playing high level. Is there anybody that doesn't like, besides I know Max doesn't, if
he doesn't like high level D&D.
D&D, right?
Yes.
We're going to get to other games, but D&D sounds like Mark is struggling a little with it, and I think that's a little bit of a function of the game, but I don't think 5e is immune to being tinkered with to make it sing at high level. Go ahead. What did Martinson say? Spellcaster should always take a back seat. Dude, it's about magic, baby. They're always going to rule. As much as I hate it, they are.
What can you do?
I don't really hate
the
it.
Game is.
It's about magic, dude.
Yeah. I mean, in some versions of the game, they're squishier than others. So if you can get face to face and swing your big sword, he's going to go down. The spellcaster is. I mean, almost no doubt.
Yeah, I think for high level, it's DM. DM gets he always has more of the burden, but it becomes more significant once the players get 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th level. You got to know they can travel the planes, they can teleport in a moment's notice, probably the whole party. They can do crazy stuff. So be ready for it. I remember reading this in Dragon Magazine. Dude, make them use those cool powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, how come you want to? I want you to teleport the whole party. How come? Because there are 34 pit fiends bearing down on you through a portal. I think you better teleport.
Yeah.
Do stuff like that to them so they have to do that crap. And then the wizard will be like, dude, I'm glad I memorized group teleport.
Right. And, the other thing is the DM needs help when you get to mid to high level by knowing your character and their capabilities.
Yeah.
Right. You know your character. You don't have your nose in a book trying to figure out what you're doing. You don't say, oh, I don't know how this ability works. The DM should say, at that point, okay, next. You just skip them in the initiative order. You need to know what your character can do. You need to know how it works. And that will help high level play a lot. There are some people though that just don't like it. They like low level.
Yeah, and that's going to be the. I think a lot. Tell me if I'm wrong, folks. Now, we got some OSR folks in here, but I hear a lot of podcasts I listen to, and the YouTube videos I watch. OSR is kind of fond of the old first to 5 or 1 to 8 maximum.
I went on some Discords and posed that question in various forms over the last maybe year and a half. And what I get is some people prefer it. There's some preference there for low level.
Mm-hmm.
And for various reasons, doesn't really matter. The other thing is some people would say, I would like high level if I could find the time and the campaign that we're in lasts that long. But they peter out for a lot of different reasons. And that's a different issue, how to keep it alive if you want to. So I think there's preference, there's opportunity. And probably it's wrapped up into those two.
Okay. Darth Thick makes a comment. You'll probably appreciate it. 8:14 p.m. Joe, check that out. Right above Shadow and Sun. I think Joe would agree with this.
Darth Thick, to be honest, for my friends, high level play is 21 plus. We consider 1 to 10 low, 11 to 20 mid. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, and it probably doesn't even matter what edition, but if you're going 1E, 2E, or old D&D, well, old D&D like BECME, well, that's two different things, but BECME, you go to 36 plus, and then first and second, I'm pretty sure, unless did second edition put the 20 level thing in there? Or was it unlimited? Like first edition, there's no actual limit to what level you can get to.
I think second edition had a 20th level cap written in the player's handbook, but
was it 20 plus?
Or
was it like the experience point chart? I can't remember. I don't have the books anymore. But
well, I know 3.0 went. Yeah, I'm going to say
3.0 was 20. That was it.
Let me grab it. I got my player's handbook right here.
Bruce, 20 is mid level. Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I guess you're looking at, where did it have the experience point chart? Each class has its own chart, right?
I think second edition still had that. Yeah, the third edition is where it changed.
So Rogue goes to 20 and stops.
But what does the XP chart say?
The XP chart for a wizard says stops at 20. 10 plus 10 hit dice, 3,750,000.
Okay, so second edition is where they stop. So Mark Getzinger says another problem is YouTube channels offering up game-breaking combos that you can't stop players from seeking out. I'm about done with 5e, and I think I have to go with CNC and BX. And BECME is good too.
Yeah, BX is basically a version of BECME. I told him BX would be, if I was choosing between those two, I would lean toward BX, but I definitely got to get Castles and Crusades at my table because I think, first of all, I think Joe would enjoy it. I do. And I think it would have enough of a third edition feel that he would like it. But it's got a lot of things. I don't know in general. I'm looking at the player's handbook here, second edition. There might be rules in the back about going beyond 20th level, but in the books, official books, in the class descriptions, everybody stops at 20. So yeah, at least according to the chart. That's not Randy reading every single class. So there's kind of, but that little pie chart I showed you, that's not good because I know Watsy had said that in third edition, and I think in fourth and in fifth now. So I'm not sure we're ever going to get good rules beyond 10th level because that literally tells them no one's playing it. Why should I care?
Right.
So make high level as dumb, as broken as we want. Who cares? Don't really test it.
Okay, so there's a spell that I like as a player because it'll wreck as a spellcaster, a wizard. It can wreck bad guys, especially your big dumb giants, and that is Magic Jar.
Yes.
However, if you want to wreck a campaign, you can do it very easily as well.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the ramifications that the DM has put in place for there being magic in the game. So if there's no real consideration, and it's just, kings have castles and guards and whatnot, sufficiently leveled wizard, ninth, can walk in and with perhaps some trial and error, might have to, beat a hasty retreat out of some towns. You could easily run things within a month, probably, maybe shorter.
Yeah.
Locally. And then you could just hop around to different people and eventually perhaps be, the head cheese without having to buy anything. Just cast your magic jar. I mean, there's some protections. Like if, let's say, the king of the realm had a ring that had a constant protection from evil on him. Well, then you couldn't magic jar him because you can't possess someone with ring of protection on, with protection from evil. They can't be possessed. And stuff like you might have some people with some protections, but if the DM hasn't really thought that through, and you just roll in there and say, "Yep, I'm taking over this place,"
Sure.
Wouldn't be that hard.
Well, here's the thing, though. Then as a DM, I would say, because see, I won't ban Magic Jar. And Joe's told me this before. And I'm like, yeah. And if Joe decided to do that, I'd be okay. Good for you. But I would immediately start thinking reasonable ways. If that spell exists, Joe's wizard's not the first one to think about this.
Can't be.
And he has control of this village. Okay. It's eventually going to get out. And if it doesn't, then Joe's living in kind of an insular life in this small village. Now, if he's controlling a big city, it's going to get out. King Ravenlock is not acting the way that he should. He's acting crazy. What has happened to him? And eventually, and if there's like not an Elminster, but another wizard who's a good friend of the kingdom, they'll be like, that's odd. And so when he comes to visit, or maybe he visits in, shape change form and just studies and goes, oh, that magic is interesting. I don't think that's the king.
Right.
I'm going to get with some buddies and we're going to take care of this. Not immediately. I would let Joe have his fun, dude. I'd let him dominate until I felt like it was enough time where, maybe I'd watch Joe. So if you were starting to get a little bored, you're like, yeah, I'm dominating everything and I'm doing this. I'm so cool. And when he got really comfortable, that's when I'd bring it in. Now, I wouldn't necessarily try to kill Joe, but he'd probably expel him and Joe would be, now he's got something to think about. He's got okay. He's watching. And that wizard's going to be watching Joe now because Joe, that's a dangerous wizard. And depending on his alignment and depending on what heinous things Joe's wizard makes the king do, he may kill him. He may try to kill you.
Sure.
I think that's fun though. What I mean by fun is that's how you run high level. You have to react to what the players do, and you can't worry so much about, they steamrolled this encounter. Yeah, they did, and it's okay. When they're 18th level, if you have 30 orcs show up, don't expect those 30 orcs to do much.
Right. You can use those steamrolled encounters as learning as a DM on what your character, what the party is capable of, and then later on have a different encounter that might look similar, but then you throw a few ringers in there. All bets are off when you're DMing.
I look at Darth's comment at 820. It's a good one. He says, I'm fine with PC builds with my players as long as it fits the game. That being said, none of them try to break my games more than once. That's the part I want to talk about. I can almost always make something to smash them easily.
Sure.
I've been lucky. I got a handful of players. Some of my buddies I like. They love to surprise me. Joe's not one of them. Joe's never been a guy that's like, oh, I got a plan for Magic Jar. Randy's going to hate this. He's not that kind of player. He would be more like, dude, I've been thinking about this. This could happen. And if he did that, I would rather him not. Honestly, sometimes I'd rather he wouldn't tell me because then I could react more naturally. Now in the old days, Joe knows I would react like, oh, that's broken. But now I'd be like, good job. You won the day. Awesome. XP, gold, good job. Now I'm going to find a way to get around that because D&D is too versatile. You can't protect yourself perfectly.
No. And with that one spell, any of my characters probably wouldn't do any of the
No,
game breaking thing. I would just say, okay, well, we thought this encounter was going to suck, but I just magic jarred the head giant, and he just jumped off a cliff. Don't even have to fight him, necessarily.
And now you control the giant clan because they're like, holy crap! I just made your dude, your king, jump off a cliff. I think you're gonna. I'm the new king.
I'm the king.
And they'd be like,
you only come up to our ankles. Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Do you want to live?
Yeah.
My friend here with his Vorpal sword could cut your ankles off, so it's up to you.
Yeah. So I use that stuff to be successful as a player, but I don't look to ruin a campaign.
Right.
That's no fun.
Well, look at Shadow's comment, the very last one, A25. Right. This is interesting. Players try to break my game, have the other players to deal with, not just an angry DM. That's good.
Yeah.
That shows you everybody wants the campaign to be fun, but you know what? Sometimes you can break a game, especially in a game like 3.x or Pathfinder. There can be a combo that a player could create that doesn't realize just how wicked it is when he gets in the game. It might have and that's where I think not testing high level. But again, I don't say toss it out unless it really is so broken that it could never be defeated, which I don't know if I would even. I'm not sure if that exists. Maybe. As a DM, there's no combo that can defeat me always.
No.
I have carte blanche. My monsters do whatever I want them to do. They have the power that says defeat whatever you're doing. Sorry. So much luck.
Right. And the king of the wind elementals.
If all else fails, king of the wind elementals.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's my
leave this room, you must give me one each magic item.
Yeah. And I agree with Shadow. No measly combo is going to rule my game. That's right. Bring it on, baby. Combo your butt off. So what do you think of the tiers of play? And I don't want to go through all this, but I thought it was interesting that it said, and I didn't hear any chat of this until 3rd edition, really. The rules talked about the characters doing some stuff, higher level adventures. But in 3.x, back in 2007, I have this quote from Ryan Dancy. He was one of the, I don't know if he was a creator. I think he was a creator of 3.5, but he was on board. He was the first to suggest the open game license. And he said, D&D 3.5 by design changes roughly every 5 levels. Who said that? You may find that your group becomes comfortable in one of those 4 quartiles, or you may find that your group enjoys the changes of pace that happens when moving from quartile to quartile. And so his statement on EN World, you can find this. I don't know if Joe will provide the link, but levels 1 to 5, he considered gritty fantasy. This was what 3.5 was supposed to be. 6 to 10, heroic fantasy. 11 to 15, what's that, Wushu? Is that what?
Wuxia.
It looks like it's Wukia. Is that how you say it?
Wuxia.
Wuxia.
I think.
I don't know how you say it. And then levels 16 to 20 was superheroes. And I think that translates to me to the spells. I said it before. Spells 0 to 2, 3 to 4, 6 to 7, 8 to 9. Things change.
Yeah.
The game changes at those levels. So I think tiers of play, do you think they're useful in the game itself to talk about that? I think it is.
Well, from in this kind of venue where we're talking about things, yes. At the table, it doesn't. I don't know if they're specifically useful when you're at the table playing. But when you're having discussions about things, then you can say low level. Before, back in the day, it was just low level, mid level, high level. We didn't have it wasn't broken down. We didn't break it down any farther than that. And but it's still useful in discussions. Where do you like to play at? Low level? Sure. We all like low level. Okay. You don't have to really get too fine grained in that.
And I think we're at the end there. I think for our group, me and Joe especially, I like to jump from tier to tier. I like to see that progression. And I honestly, right now, I wasn't for the longest time. I'm kind of keen on first level. Just start out level 1 and see how far we can get.
I like playing the whole game. But especially with D&D, with certain editions of it, I've played low level a lot.
Yeah.
But I prefer to get through low level a little more rapidly.
Right. But I think you still would probably prefer to have your character begin at 1 but maybe get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pretty quick.
It's hard to know your character well if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
What it's capable of,
Well,
within the construct of the campaign. I mean, you can look at what a wizard does and say, I know what that is, but you don't really know what that means within, this particular campaign, because you just don't know until you're in there.
and then we had the example of Pathfinder. I think we talked about it before. That super mythic game we ran, where you guys had 20th level characters with 10 mythic tiers, and I really, because we just rolled them up. You guys spent the previous year from one Cabin Con to the next, essentially making those characters. Not the whole time, but most people spent hours and hours making those characters, and I spent a lot of time on my monsters, but I really was not prepared. I mean, I was
Right.
not ready for what you guys could do. And
It would have been a lot more fun playing them than just grinding numbers.
yeah, Bruce makes
playing them up.
Bruce makes a good point there at 8:30. Check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mythic is just rocket tag. Yeah, I know. 3.5 had the high level handbook, and we didn't really care for that. It was just bigger numbers and more of the same.
Yeah,
And,
instead of armor classes topping out at 40, they were topping out at 120.
and they tried, the Pathfinder's Mythic book tried to not do that exactly.
Right.
But so they did things a little differently, but it still ended up being the rocket tag thing.
Yeah, I actually had bought a book at Gen Con in preparation for Cabin Con next year. I bought a third-party Mythic tier monster manual, talked to the guy who designed it, really good, pulled a few monsters out of it, and they were garbage. I mean, they were cool, but the group just completely smoke city. I mean, to be honest with you, Joe's Wizard pretty much did everything.
Well, and that's the thing. We didn't have 20th level characters with a tier of Mythic, or 20th level characters and then adventure to gain that tier. We made 20th level characters with all 10 levels of Mythic. So it's just like regular D&D. They don't really design the high level monsters that well to face a 20th level party.
No.
And Mythic plus 10, they don't have anything for that. Not really. And you templated the hell out of something. And
I did.
Yeah, we just kicked its teeth in. Now, granted, the first initiative roll on the main baddie, my character bit the dust, kind of.
Oh yeah.
But with all the mythic things, I could just roll it back essentially and say, yeah, restart, and we'll do that over again. Action.
Yeah. Yeah.
And which can be a pain in the butt for the DM, but it also turned a instant death into not instant death. Once a day when you die.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I just don't. Do you think this is a good question? Oh, Cliff Lavin's gone.
I'm here. Okay. I'm here.
Do you think maybe there shouldn't be rules beyond just here's some cool crap that happens at high level, do what you want? Meaning, like, give the spells, give some little bit of rules, but say, has anybody seen a D&D or a D&D clone that has made high level easily playable? Just running it out of the book. I haven't.
Not running out of the book. You have to invest time in it to make it right for your table. That's just all there is to it.
I agree. That's all there is to it.
Unless you don't care about how easy the things can get, you can just run things right out of the books. You can have
you're frozen, kind of. Yeah, you're dead.
You are.
Frozen.
Yeah, we're both frozen on each other's ends.
Oh, wonder what that is.
Because I'm frozen to you, you're frozen to me. Looks like.
Yeah. Hey guys, would you say that I'm frozen or Joe, or can you guys tell?
Yeah, and your audio is all garbled too.
So is yours.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the deal is. Joe? I think
I'm here. I'm here.
Yep. You got the scowl of disappointment. That's frozen. I'm moving. You meaning I think Randy. I think Randy is moving according to Dark. Is that correct? No one is frozen, Jesse. Wow. Okay. Everything looks good on their end. Let's keep rolling, baby.
Yeah, let's just keep going. So whatever it is, whatever it is.
I'm not sure what
So
it is. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'm not sure. So,
so where are we at?
well, we're talking about at the game design, and I'm leading this to Mudsword a little bit.
Okay.
Mudsword is our. Bruce said yours seemed messed up, but who knows? Anyway, Mudsword, which is a game we've started and then kind of put it on hold a little bit. I think you might be back, Joe. Talk. No.
Yes.
You're talking
Oh,
good, but your face is frozen. But do you think it's
okay. How about I do this? I'm going to jump out and jump back in. You keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking. So our Mudsword game, which was originally originally designed and play tested for about 2 or 3 months as a D&D clone. And it was a lot closer to a 3.x or ascending AC BX game with the little wrinkles. Then we decided we don't want to be going to make a clone. We want to make our own game. And I'm trying to decide, and not just me, but me and Joe, I want to bounce this off in the night. Should we make rules for high level, or should our high level play be pretty loosey goosey? We can give all the cool spells and magic items. This is what high level adventurers might run into, and give them some things, but don't make special rules for high level play. Let DMs after level 10, 12, 15 make your own crap up, because you're going to have to, because these spells are going to break things. Just be ready. You're back. You look good.
Okay, good.
For a dude.
Well, I can't help how I was made.
That's who you are. I mean, I'm not a biologist, but I'm going to assume your gender. So, yes, I'm doing it. I feel confident. As a mathematician, I'm going to calculate the odds that you are a male. So, you just freeze again, dude?
Did I?
Yeah, for a second. Anyway, did you? I don't know if you heard me, Joe. The idea was Mudsword. Do you think if we ever get back to that as our own game, I was telling everybody, give them a recap of our original thought processes and how we're leaning toward our own game now, or at least I am. Maybe Joe's not. And if we build it, give spells and magic items and other things, but don't tell the DMs how to run high level. Tell them these spells and magic items are going to do things to your campaign. Be ready, and you have to decide where it's going to go.
Well, I don't know if we were to make a product and sell it. I don't know that giving them a bunch of pieces, parts, and saying, I don't know what to do with this, but there you go.
Right.
That's kind of what Gygax did.
True.
He didn't really tell you what to do except, hey, domain play.
And they love him.
Yeah.
We could be we could be Gygax and Artisan. We'll have to become enemies soon, though. We'll split. I'll try to make a Mudsword, advanced Mudsword, without putting your name on it, and then you can get mad and sue me, and I'll owe you millions of dollars. How does that sound?
Right. Okay, that sounds good. Hold on a second. My wife was talking to me, and you were talking, and I couldn't hear you both.
Okay.
Apparently, our internet here has gone the poop way of the poop side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back out, reset all my crap, and come back in.
Finally, the Randy show.
So you just talk. You're good at that. So
yeah. Teacher, man.
So I will be back.
Yep. Will I be able to show your comments when Joe's gone? Probably not.
Yeah, you should have the ability to do so. Can you do that right now?
I'm clicking on it. I can't show them.
That's weird.
Edit audio, edit name, remove stream. Now this is boring. Okay, what about this? I'll just comment. So, Jesse T, what about a simple structure where the DM and players can build within it? I love that idea, Jesse. Most players, though, they want lots of rules. And Shadow and Sun said, at the DM, we have to make up everything anyways. What's a little more? Sorry, I can't put them on the screen, guys, because, well, Joe won't give me control. He's kind of a control nut. I don't know what to do with that dude. But do you think there's a disconnect with the OSR? I think there is. I think the OSR, for the most part, and I know some of you guys are OSR people, but it seems like all the streams, all they ever talk about is low-level play. You don't get much info on high-level play. So I'm not sure. Um, I was as I was thinking about old school D&D, I remember pushing to get to super high level. So I don't know why people would just want to naturally stop. And I know Joe often complains about many clones in OSR games like Essentials and stuff, old school Essentials. I'm rambling. Um, Stopping at lower levels. So I think the first book is 14th level, so he may be off there. Um, yeah, Shadow, I know you're definitely about high level, and Darth is. Um, oh, Web Warrior 1.0. OSR is not for me, I have discovered. I like to build a world for my players, and I'm excited for them to get to high level if they survive. Right, right. I like that too. I'm with you. Um, I don't know. What have your experiences been like? Um, my experience of high level has been actually really good. I've played it and had great times. When you've been a player, have you had good high level experiences or not? Um, yeah, I don't know. For me, I've had multiple campaigns that have gone at least 1 to 20 in, oh, I won't say every edition of the game, but pretty close. 1E, 2E, multiple in third edition. Fifth edition, not yet, and probably never because I'm not as inclined to play 5E. So I think my experiences have been very good with high level. Um, I don't know how most people. I don't know. It would be tough to. Gosh, I guess we have to go with Watsy's statement. So, Web Warrior says OSR may not be adversarial to high level, but the people around it seem to never talk about it. Seems to me that they love low level and grit. Yeah, it does seem like it. We got a couple of OSR folks here. I know Shadow, you play mostly second edition, right? I don't know who else on here plays OSR stuff. Legion, second edition guy, I believe. And Legion doesn't play high level much. I mean, I don't know if Max is still listening, but his claim is he doesn't like high level D&D, or at least he doesn't want to play that to mid to high level. It could be a gritty feel, and if you want a gritty feel, D&D definitely after fifth or sixth level in OSR, it doesn't have that. Yeah. Hmm. Shadow 1A with a little 2E added. Bruce just wants to have D8 hit points forever. Yeah. So Legion, you don't play high level D&D. Do you peter out around 7th, 8th, 10th level? Is that when you kind of say, look, campaign's over, starting over? If you were into D&D, and I think you play 2E, right? I think I do want to start. Um, yeah, Darth, I'm with you. I'd like to play 2E again, but I want to get to high level and plane travel. Yeah, big Planescape fan, but you can plane travel even if you don't do the Planescape stuff. Um, but yeah, definitely. That's I played many of my high level games through the Planescape setting, allowed characters to bounce all over the multiverse, which was fun. Um, trying to think here. If I pushed you, says Legion says as a player around level 14 to 15 gets to be too much for my taste. As a DM, level 12 is where the chaos starts. So too much for your taste. Too much work on your end? Is that what you mean? Too many bits and bobs, bells and whistles, levers to turn, things to keep track of. And if you really dig into a high level game, it takes away your time from any other game, right? I'm going to talk about quote unquote high level in a little bit, but if you get to if you play levels, 1 to 20 a campaign like that, and you stick to it every week or every 2 weeks, you don't have much time for anything else. Or, well, I wouldn't. I only have time for one game, so I'm not sure I would be able to do any other game. And all these stinking books on my shelves would never get any use, which is mostly what's happened. Mostly been D&D. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, That would be a good poll. When Joe gets back on here, I may have to bounce that off him. Okay, I want to go ahead and jump into now talking about high level play. See, Armin says above 12th level is tough on settings based on realism. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't put your comments up. I don't know how to make that happen on my end. I don't have the power. Um, Tough on settings. I guess if your setting is just based on a prime material world in a standard world, maybe. But I've never had an issue feeling like my world couldn't handle 13th, 14th, 20th level characters. Not that there's bunches of them running around. Uh, um, I'm not sure about that. Um, I think I would probably be okay with. I mean, I know I am okay with that, but I could see if you're concerned about realism. I'm not sure if realism doesn't go out the door, Iron Man, much earlier than 12th level. I mean, realism probably goes out the door when you can get to where you can even teleport. Yeah. Legion says, "Well, I don't believe in being a lazy DM. I also don't want it to be work. Yeah, not a second job. What I present is challenging without being overpowered. Yeah, and sometimes, like I said before, I just throw an encounter out there, and I might find out that it was too weak, and I say, good for the players, well done. The next one might be tougher. Um, so, um, let's transition now and get away from D&D, and I want to talk about other game systems and what high level even means, right? So something like Call of Cthulhu. Not that I've played much Call of Cthulhu. World of Darkness, Earth Dawn Max. What's that high level? Other D&D style games. I know one, 13th Age. Savage Worlds has its own kind of power dynamic. Supers games, Newtons and Mastermind, whatever. I think high level there, quotations, are very different. Maybe very, like in Call of Cthulhu, if you're playing an investigator, do you ever, even forgetting the fact that you're probably going to go insane, do you ever really get high level because you're just a dude or a gal? Jesse says he loves Call of Cthulhu. Jesse T, love Call of Cthulhu. I play it a lot. Does not have high level. Yeah. What about very experienced? What if you're an investigator that has solved many Cthulhu-esque mysteries? Legion says Earth Dawn High Circle is just Dragon Ball Z level power. Oh, so a bit of crazy sauce. Yeah. So it's not unlike D&D then, is what you're saying. You just get really super power. What's it called? I never watched Super Saiyan. Is that Dragon Ball Z? Super Saiyan, he does his thing and he's super awesome or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z guy. I know it's a little anime of crazitude. I know 13th Age is a game that handles high level play well. Well, it handles high level play consistently. But for some people, that's not great. Not much difference between level 10 and level 1. Look like my boy at Biggest Geek is Joe is about to get his PC rolling. But 13th Age does a good job of balance. And that's maybe not great because you're doing bigger stuff. You're casting bigger spells. You're casting Meteor Swarm, but you're fighting bigger monsters. So a lot of times the challenges always seem to be, for the most part, appropriate. You get the appropriate challenge. So it's more like a well-designed 3rd edition game, balanced through all the levels. Drawback is they go levels 1 to 10. But a 10th level 13th Age character is a complete and total BA. He's doing major damage. Legion says it fits the Earth Dawn setting due to the entire world. Yeah, being powered by magic. Yeah, right. Every character is magical, so it would make sense at some point. High level groups are doing super magical badassery every time they turn around. One High Magic, I play Earth Dawn. D&D is for grit and struggle. Yeah, not me. I understand. I mean, I've never played Earth Dawn all the way through. I mean, I'm a first circle human thief, so not doing so great so far. But D&D has its grit and struggle, but it also has some of its high level craziness. But I understand you like that fit, and so I could see that. Has anybody played a game that's not really like back to Call of Cthulhu as an example, or World of Darkness? World of Darkness, you get there is high level or not? I'm not sure. I know you get more points to spend. The original World of Darkness, don't know too much about the others, but you get these points to place into your character, so you get better and better at different things. Yeah, I think that would be something that could definitely feel like a high level game. I mean, heck, a vampire, you start out already high level, though, don't you? Um, So Jesse says, yeah, you can solve a lot of stuff, but you may not be good at other party roles. There are lots of skills, and it's hard to max them out. I'm thinking he's talking about Call of Cthulhu. Page 7 of the second edition Player's Handbook. Max, oh, buddy, dude, I have that right here. I'm going to read it. He said page 7 is D&D. It's so nice that it's on one page. I'm going to find it. Well, page 7, you mean this? The picture? Is that the page 7 you're talking about? That's D&D. We finally killed a dragon, and he's barely bigger than our mule that we had packing our stuff. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of D&D. But to you, you're saying that's where D&D that's its thing. Anything outside of that's too much. Great picture, by the way. I think that's the Elmore drawing, right? Looks Elmore. I could be wrong. I'm sure it's one of the horsemen. So, yeah. Biggest geekus. None of the rest of the pages. Joe's saying none of the pages are D&D. I think Max is saying that picture encapsulates to him what D&D is. Bruce says high level first and second edition Warhammer was just mainly a bunch of people trying to sneak around with no more fate points, possibly going insane or raped by Zinch. I don't know if that is cultist with tentacles. Good times. Okay. I remember that, Jesse T. World of Darkness controls power by generation for vampires. So other World of Darkness controls much the same way. So is it hard to progress to another generation? Because you got to be super old, right? So that's pretty tough. Or can you ever become no, because there's the first generation of vampires right after Cain. So yeah, you're in your generation period. So you're kind of boxed in. Your power is kind of boxed in. Shadow says his world's more like GW, Gamma World Universe meets Rifts, multi-worlds, each with their own genre, being able to go from one world to the next pretty easily. Fun times. Yeah. Darth says you are allowed to drain elders and move your generation closer to Cain. Okay. So yeah, that's a tricky business. Draining a more powerful vamp is a tough business. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know much about Mage. Max is telling us about Paradox. I believe if Patrick was here, he would be going back and forth with Max on that one. He loves him some Mage. The Ascension, I believe. Not is that the original Mage the Ascension? I think so. I'm talking to the chat, so but I do think Jesse T, you could say World of Darkness controls power through, I think, resource restrictions. Okay. So being able to, if you can be a vampire who controls a big business, Fortune 500, you got big influence in the town, you may eventually get to be is it the prince of the city? I think it's been so long since I played. I played like this much vampire. Not really my cup of tea, though. I think Vampire Dark Ages was fun. I played a short campaign. Tim Scott's not on here, but he ran that for us for a while. Good times. I think, well, what about superheroes? Has anybody play superhero games? I've played several. Savage Worlds is definitely my favorite system. And in the Savage Worlds superhero supplement, they talk about tiers of play: gritty, street level, 4-color, cosmic. Oh, Bruce, we ever answer with what would happen if Randy had no program manager? You're doing good, Randy. Well, I'm just going on and on, man. I wasn't ready for this. I'm scared. No, I'm not scared at all. I'm just trying to keep it going. Um, but back to supers. Oh, I don't know. I think I like the idea of street level, but I have more fun in four color. So I think I like mid level. I've never tried cosmic. I've never run a Justice League where you've got a Wonder Woman, a Superman, and a Green Lantern, where they're super powerful in any system. Though I do know that Savage Worlds can handle it. It does a good job of that. Um, so high level in that is just the power level of the characters, and you don't. I mean, they have rules in Savage Worlds where you can progress. I find that a little weird. I mean, you don't see comic book characters get more powerful. Yeah, Jesse T. I don't like superhero RPGs. I get it. It's not for everybody. It took me a while to get into it. I ran a super fun one at Cabin Con. We had a great time, and we were kind of a little better than gritty characters, and it was fun. Legion. I've played superhero games, but I'm not really a fan. Not really comic book dude. Underwear belongs under your clothes. Also, too much pew pew power for my taste. Fair enough. Um, Darth Thick, I've played Mega Heroes and Heroes Unlimited. That's like having a party of super. Oh wow, what's that like, Darth? Uh, Martinson chimed in. He played in it. Street level characters. We had it was a great session. I've never run a campaign. Not really. I lied. I did run Necessary Evil, which was fun. Uh, Shadow and Sun, none of my supers wear tights. Okay, yeah. That's up to you. I have no problem with it. You guys know I'm a huge comic book fan. Um, I'm saying constantly. So I think that I ran Necessary Evil where you played in a world where aliens came down, they killed the superheroes, and so the villains had to step in and protect the world. That was a super fun game. We had a really good time. And I believe Martinson played in that as well. So yeah, and that went from low to high level. Um, I don't know about other games. I mean, what other games really even talk about? Most other games that aren't fantasy don't discuss the idea of a high level, do they? Yeah, Bruce, you are correct. Necessary Evil is effing amazing. I'm quoting Bruce. So, uh, cow, Fire Marshal Bill, baby. It's a superhero. Uh, yeah, I don't know. So I think I'm gonna slide into the next segment here, and I got a question for you. Um, and it'd be nice if my boy Joe was on here. If she shows up, we might do a little rewind. But what is the highest level, longest lasting campaign you have ever played and enjoyed? I can say for me, I've run level 1 to 20, a Greyhawk campaign that transitioned to Planescape early on when 1E went to 2E. Not right at then, but actually 1E to 2E to um, Planescape. And that was probably with a few characters, probably a 6-year campaign. And we played at very high levels. Joe says his PC is up now. Oh, you guys can see that. Why am I quoting that for you? My partner's PC is up. Hopefully it'll be up for those that are just watching. I have run 2 third edition campaigns from 1 to 20 and won the third edition campaign from 1 to 25 plus. That was quite possibly a tie for the Greyhawk campaign. It was the best campaign ever. It was a campaign I've talked about, the 7 Spheres campaign. One of my 2 best campaigns for sure. What about you guys? Jesse T. World's largest dungeon for 3.5 went from 1 to 20 fighter. Very nice. Bruce, 15th level in Slumbering Czar Saga until my players threw a bitch fit and said something about COVID made me lose my income. And they moved away. I got to get that Slumbering Czar. Martinson, Patrick says hello. We're working together, but he cannot chat. Tell him I said hi. Needed his comments on Mage. Legion, I moved around the world too much. Longest campaign played, 1.5 years, AD&D 2E. Got to level 9 or 10. Longest run, 2.5 years Earth Dawn. Most characters were 8th or 9th Circle. I think my first book that I just bought, the 4th edition, that first core book will get me through that. Oh, my partner's here.
That was painful.
Yeah, slow, huh? Shadow.
Well, so I tried to just restart my computer.
That would seem to be the solution.
Yeah, and it had an update signal, an update little thing, and I said no, do not update. And my computer said, "Screw you, we're updating."
We're updating. Just wait, son. I'll get with you in a moment.
Yeah,
I've kind of made it to segment 3 where I'm talking about highest level, longest lasting campaign. We've had some really good ones. Jesse T played World's Largest Dungeon from 1 to 20. That's a lot of stamina for a dungeon campaign.
Oh, sure.
Shadow may have the record here. He's saying I'm running a 25 plus year long game with characters in the triple digits for levels and have yet to be stumped for an idea how to challenge them. Yes, death is still a thing. Dig that.
Triple digit characters.
So he could play that module, Bloodstone Pass, levels 18 to 100.
Right. I'd like to see that. Triple digit. Well, you can't use anything stock.
No.
That's why he was saying thousands of hit points. So.
Oh, dude, yeah, Shadow's he's doing Arduin, every combo he can think
of. Next level.
He's a king of high level. Darth, the longest game I ran was 1 to 20, took 3 years, played for just over 2 years, and reached Fighter 12 Mage. Ooh, Fighter 12 Mage 16. Is that a dual class in 2nd edition D&D? If so, that character is a straight up pimp.
Oh, sure.
Martinson, 7 Spheres. Oh, yeah, baby. Represent. Yeah, so I could have played a Max Earth Dawn campaign, except he doesn't play 4th edition. Cal played in a 3 years, 14 level campaign. 5e, our DM got tired of the power creep. Well, 5e characters can't really die, so I understand that. I mean, they can technically.
Yeah, there's a lot of hurdles to overcome. I mean, okay.
So, no offense, it's not any harder to die in 5e than it is in 13th Age.
Right, correct. But 14th level.
That's all right, dude. That's some playing.
So are you dealing with Disintegrate? Because in early editions, Disintegrate means, game over. There's no death saves from Disintegrate. Once you lose all your hit points, you're a pile of dust, so it doesn't matter. So I don't know how Disintegrate works.
How about you, Joe? What is the highest level, longest lasting campaign you ever played and enjoyed?
Well, there's a tie with Volsivar making it to 27th level, but you kind of screwed him out of that and bumped him back to 19th because you thought you were being too nice.
Well,
but it was fun playing him.
You had 7 artifacts, that's why.
I did not have 7 artifacts.
Dude, you had Baba Yaga's hut and all kinds of stuff.
I only had a cubic gate.
That's true.
I don't remember having Baba Yaga's hut.
You had a bunch of crap, dude.
An interesting magic item that I created to keep nosy fighters with Vorpal swords from cutting my head off.
Your sweet cloak.
Yeah, but anyway, there's 7 Spears was pretty groovy.
Yeah, and that was a reincarnation of Volsivar, your same wizard dude. Yeah, these guys have played some pretty sweet high level campaigns. Bruce had some crybabies quit over COVID, so his Slumbering Czar saga stopped at 15.
Oh,
that was a shame. Yeah. Which is more important? This is for everybody, including Joe. We'll do Joe first. Which is more important, long lasting or reaching the pinnacle of levels and powers? So, D&D, would you really like start at, say skip the boring stuff, start at 8th level, make it to 20, or like Shadow, dude, we're playing 25 years, son, the same game.
I like long duration, so making it there is cool. Mm-hmm. But if you make it there in a year and then you stop and then you do again and then you rinse and repeat, that's no fun.
Yeah,
not really. what kind of mileage can you really make out of a campaign? I think you can make a lot. And yes, to Jesse T's point down here, give me story and development, and that can happen with high level, can happen with low level.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a long lasting campaign and it's slow moving as far as level development, but there's different lots of stuff happening, but your characters don't necessarily gain power quickly. That can be fun too. It all depends on what you want at your table. If you don't care whether you get high level or not, you just want to have a good time, then none of that matters. But
Look
for
at
me, I like getting to high level, but I don't care how long it takes. Not really.
And you would really rather it be something that you get to and keep going. Don't in your idea, a perfect campaign, it would never quote unquote end.
I would never play level 1 for 10 years. I would get bored. I don't care who's running it.
Oh, Legion says, put the back up. Long lasting. I can play level 1 to 10 for years, though I prefer progression. We have a buddy at one point in the 3rd edition era, because it got crazy at high level. He thought 6th level was the perfect place to play, and that he didn't see any point in playing beyond 10. And he was perfectly happy playing characters between 6 and 10 and gaining really, really slowly. Like he would have been happy gaining a level every 2 years. Yeah. You know of whom I speak, don't you?
Yes.
I wonder if he's just not a fan. I think he thinks, well, it would be great to have him on this show and talk about his opinions of high level.
Yeah, it's just a matter of taste.
Oh, that's interesting. Hit Legion's comment there. What is the Shauner style? What I watched Shiva's videos. I wish Shauner was here. I don't know what he's talking about half the time.
Legion says, I tend to agree with the Shauner style, even if I think it's too puritanical. He's too puritanical about it. So I believe I understand what he's talking about. It's the RP part of our game, which is discussion between character and DM, and Shauner doesn't even want you asking questions.
I know.
He wants you essentially playing the question out. What is over there? Well, he doesn't want you to ask what is over there. He wants you to go over there. Doesn't want to even hear you say anything like the character goes over there. You have to say, well, I walk over there. Right. You don't say, what do I see? You just, I walk over there and then.
Bookshelf and I head to the bookshelf and putting my fingers on the spines. I try to read them. That's what he wants you to do.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Jesse's got a good comment. Jesse T at 906. It's a good story would offer progression. So if you do not have a story with the progression stall for the whole game, maybe. What if you bounced between adventures and you were just, like we used to play back in the day, we did Keep on the Borderlands, no transition. We'd go do Temple of Elemental Evil, no transition. Barrier Peaks, no transition, same characters. So.
Yeah, stay in character. So as soon as your butt hits the seat, you're in character the whole time. You don't say anything out of character. And
acting without a script. Look, if you like to play that way, that's great. No, I found myself heading down that road late 2nd edition, but then I realized, you're just playing part of the game. Then you're just doing the role playing. You're not really You're not playing a game much anymore. If all you're doing is just acting. Right.
Well, I'm sure there's dice rolling in his games.
Oh,
I imagine.
Yeah, I've heard him talk.
But what it is you prompt each other. So you're supposed to listen for the prompts. So I go over there, which is a prompt for the DM to say, this is what you see when you go over there, or whatever the thing is that you say you've done. The DM is giving you information, and then you prompt each other, and it sounds tedious.
Yeah, Cal makes a good point. Yeah, because do you have to perform your own stunts?
Right.
So I don't say I do a flip. I literally have to flip. I'm sure Shauner doesn't mean that, but he just likes his. I guess he likes his game the way it is. He's got a particularly.
If like we were saying earlier, if he's saying this is the way I like it, that'd be one thing, but that's not what he means. He means you're not playing D&D unless you play it the way he plays it.
Yeah, and that's the
And he
problem.
really does mean that, I believe. I
Yeah.
don't think he really, if he sees other people playing and they're not playing that way, he says they are doing it wrong.
I like what Shadow says, mostly, not completely. He says that 909, as long Shadow, one above. We'll get to Max too.
Huh? Oh.
Right above Shadow. As long as everyone is having fun, nothing else matters. I don't fully agree with that, but I do agree with that. I mean, if I'm having fun, I'm not going to stop it. But I
Right.
think a campaign can suffer from a lot of, if it's just fun because you're goofing,
Oh,
that's not much of a
well,
campaign.
this is odd. He calls D&D an adventure game, not a role-playing game. It says it's a role-playing game. He's wrong. He's wrong.
Well, yeah.
It says role-playing.
Does it say it in the original?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
Sean?
pretty sure it's always been called an RPG, a role-playing game.
I'm not sure about that.
I mean, maybe not old D&D, but I'm pretty sure it's always been called, at least from first edition on.
Okay,
Maybe even Beckme.
look at my PDF up here, bro. Give me a second. Check. What does Larry got to say? Mr. Larry's got something good to say. The Monster Book says for OD&D, rules for fantastical medieval war games, campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures.
Right.
That's the old one.
Old. So I think from first edition on, especially, maybe Beckme, maybe he doesn't.
First edition.
We know what you're doing there, Max. He says, I'm not here to defend him. I just wanted to make a simple example.
Okay. It's okay if you do.
No.
Yes, it's okay. Joe,
No.
it's okay if Joe's wrong.
But I'm not. So there's that.
Yeah.
Cal says, I'm okay with not being a pariah of role playing or elite.
Yeah.
I don't have to measure up to anybody else's standards.
Yeah.
Nobody complains about the way I play, I don't think.
I do constantly to my wife.
You don't matter.
Good point. So I'm just your favorite dungeon master. That's fine.
Yeah.
Play however you want. That's fine.
So we matter a tiny bit.
Not much. That means pretty much nothing. Joe likes me because I'm beautiful. That's what it is.
No.
So, yeah. So, Larry Elliott at 909 says this, and I do kind of agree with this. And it's related to Shadow and Sun. So I enjoy hanging out with friends and playing. Long-lasting games will be good. Though as newer player and with work and other obligation, it's not always easy to do. And that's true. That's the part we didn't get to as part of the outline was some people may not play high level because it's just too tough. Right. Time-wise, they don't get a chance to stay in the game that long, and they got to move on.
I think the reason our games are more relaxed as opposed to some others is because D&D is a thing that we do with our friends.
Yes.
When we hang out, one of the things we like to do is play D&D.
Yep.
So it's a more relaxed game than some others.
Right.
And I don't know, if all you do is play out of a game store because that's what you got, then that's probably not how it rolls with you. But
no, you know what? I'll be honest with you. If all I had was games we're playing, I wouldn't play D&D anymore.
Really?
Yep.
Well, it probably depends on the crowd you would get.
Now, I might do it if I could, go to the game store and collect a few homies like these good, fine folks here.
Yeah.
Meet Cal and meet Max and get Shadow and look, and then I would steal them from the game store and we'd make a home group.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking, even now when we add new players, I'm hoping we're about to make a new friend.
Right.
I mean, I do agree with Shadow. I mean, you've got a short time on this earth. I want to do fun stuff with my friends. And I can be very serious about the campaign. I want a campaign. I have more fun when we're being more serious about the game and the story, whether it's happening.
Right.
He's railroading you, get on board or let's do something.
Right.
So, I think I'm good with that. You know what, Joe? It's hard to chat. I was there for 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, felt like 2 hours by yourself. And I felt a little wobbly, but I was mostly responding to the chat.
You might want to check your chair. It might have something loose.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know if I'd like being a lot of those guys that are YouTubers by themselves. It's a different style, dude. I like having a partner, man. It's just easier to riff off people.
Well, there's the other thing. When let's take for example, one that we both probably listen to a lot. I know I do. Uh, listen more than watch is Eric July. He doesn't have anything to do with role playing games, but his style is just him. But he goes through topics. And he'll usually have 2, 3, 4 things that he will talk about, and then he has a big enough following that he has super chats. So we don't. Although when I switched back on,
Yeah.
I noticed that we gained a couple of subscribers. So that's great.
Where are we at number wise? Because I got
171.
Okay. So when we get to, did we say 250?
250. So we're 79 away.
So next week I'm going to announce the goodies I'm going to give away. I am going to change it up just a little bit because it seems like nobody's interested in some of the stuff I tried to give away before. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. So,
hey, you know what? We'll take donations. I'm not necessarily talking about money, but that too.
Right.
But if someone wants to send us a book for the giveaway, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Why not? Be a way to support the show. But what I was saying is he has a few topics. So he talks about a thing and then does super chats. Talks about a thing, does super chats. We don't have that. We have the chat, but it can be challenging. And if we get enough people on, we got 14 here, according to the number that's on my screen right now, which is great. But if we were to get the numbers that some of these YouTubers have, like nearing 100, we wouldn't be able to do that.
I know. And
it would be very difficult.
You know, it's funny. It's taken me a while to get comfortable in the YouTube lands because I told you before. I think I liked podcasting better, and I still think I would be good with it if it's just me and you. I wouldn't have a problem podcasting. I think I would actually like it. But I'm really digging all these cool daddy-os that come in to give us comments. You know, even good, bad, and ugly, whatever it is, agree, disagree. That makes the world go around. It's fun to chat and stuff. And so I'm really starting to like this environment, and I'm not sure if I would be too awfully excited. Yes, that is correct, Shadow and Sun. No one. He says, I have a copy of Pathfinder 2.0, but no one likes that, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
I would imagine the things that would be popular here would be in the OSR realm for new products.
And 5e some. We got some 5e.
Some 5e. But yeah, so who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? We'll probably have to figure something out. Maybe we have a couple of people that do support us monthly. Maybe we can just pull that together and think of something. Who knows? You have some ideas?
Oh, you mean as far as stuff to give away?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got some stuff. Yeah, I just want to the last time we did it, there wasn't very many. Nobody seemed like there's. Remember, I had the Pathfinder version of X-Crawl. Nobody seemed to want that. eBay it, and so I want to shift some things out and do stuff people might like. Unfortunately, the OSR stuff that I have, I kind of want to keep.
Sure.
I want to give it away.
Right.
But it may be that I'll offer what I offer, and they'll take what they can get. I guess they'll take whatever I give them, or not take it.
Right.
Yeah. So, what do you think, man? It's about 9:18. 9:18. You about ready to call tonight? Have we hit everything?
Have we already?
Well,
I guess we have.
Missed the whole thing about high level for different game genres. We talked with the chat about it. Do you want to make any comments on that? Supers or Savage Worlds in general, or other kind of game systems where you play high level, or what it even constitutes? We talked about that.
Yeah, well, Supers is high level from the get-go, unless you do street level, really.
Yeah, and even then, if you're Batman, you feel like you're high level.
Right.
You're doing pretty cool stuff.
Right. And the folks he runs around with.
Oh yeah, dude, he's essentially the leader of the Justice League. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's
really not Superman. Batman is the general.
Right. But compared to the iconic Legion of Superheroes, he's like the least powerful. I mean, physically and powers wise. I mean, Wonder Woman, Superman. They don't need Batman around for
Green Lantern,
beating up people.
Manhunter, the Flash.
Yeah,
he's low end.
Oh yeah.
But I told
Except he doesn't have low end intelligence or
no,
strategy or information on everybody that you can think of.
yeah, including his allies.
Yeah.
Bruce says he likes Star Wars. It's probably his favorite non D&D game. Nobody ever talks about it. Maybe we should do a Star Wars episode, but we don't have a lot of experience with Star Wars. I've played D6 once at Gen Con. I've played a couple sessions of the WotC Star Wars, including the Saga system, and I do like Saga.
Right.
So,
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh,
Yeah, so I guess I'm that's my the commentary I have for what I missed.
okay. All right.
I don't think I've done high level in other systems very much.
Other than one shotty type stuff, no,
Yeah.
you haven't.
No, not that I can remember.
Yeah, I don't. When I say no, you haven't. I'm just saying not with me.
Right.
Right up when we were in the military and stuff. So, all right. So why don't we get out of here tonight? It'll be a little bit.
Sounds good.
We'd like to support our show.
Hold on one moment.
Zoom.
For the folks that are here, I'm very sorry that my computer cut out. So if anybody got been out of shape for it, I don't think you did, but I'm sorry. There's nothing I could do about it. So thank you for sticking around. That was
absolutely.
great.
Listen to me ramble and me go and. So that's cool.
So please continue.
Yeah. Check our website out if you'd like to support us. www.biggestgeekestpodcast.com. Support us there on the tab. Give us money. Give us encouragement. Share us with your friends. We are around on Twitter, Facebook. We're at Gilded now, right? Too, Joe. We need to put that
on Gilded.
MeWe, Odyssey, YouTube. Email is thegeeks@biggestgeekestpodcast.com. Oh, what is that?
So Legion of Myth says, "What are you talking about?" With reference to me cutting out. The show got better.
We don't need that guy. No, we do. I like having Joe around. Share this show with your friends. Anywhere we might could promote this thing and would help you get access to it better, let us know. Subscribe, like, share, rate, all that good stuff. Anything else, Mr. Joseph?
I have nothing except all those folks saying it got better when I left. You can sit on an egg.
Sit on it, Potsy.
Sit on it.
No,
I'm owed. I know that stuff.
Great to have you guys, man. It was so cool tonight. Thank you. But this is Randy.
And this is Joe.
And remember, can't be big like us and be geeks like us.